Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon, the 17th of February 2021. We've got a red day in the market, so I don't think it's any better day to do an update on kind of where I think we are in the market. And I'm probably going to be making some changes to my Elliott count. So this is going to be kind of an interesting session here that we're going to have. Probably going to spend the next 30 minutes taking a look at the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and also Bitcoin. Before I get into any of this, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and move into the charts. Let's take a look here. Okay, I've got an old chart here. I've been kind of using this as my working copy for quite a while. I'm going to clean this off a little bit because I want to take a look and see if my current analysis makes sense, or if I think that there's potentially something else going on here. So the first thing that I always do, and maybe this is going to be a lesson for you if you're interested in learning Elliott wave, if you're interested in learning all of these things, I highly suggest paying really close attention here. So it's going to be a free lesson for everybody. The first thing that I always do when I take a look at a chart, I look for corrections. And I talk about this all the time. I'm going to clean this off a little bit here. Cleaning this off. And, for some of you, this probably hurts that I'm doing this. I'm cleaning off the chart a little bit, keeping my corrections on here. Okay? Keeping my corrections. And one thing that has always kind of eluded me is this right here. Let me remove the fill on this guy. All right, so this guy right here has always been what I don't want to say confused, but something that really had me questioning. Because what I had this as the correction, and then I had this over here as a 1, 2, and I don't actually think that that is the case. After looking at this move here, it's too diagonal. There's not a whole lot of impulsion going on here. This is not a motive wave, I guess is really what I'm getting at. This is kind of like an expanding diagonal, if you will, where we've got, this going on here, right? You can't deny that we've got a lower trend line here. But then also we've got this going on here. This is also something that we can't deny. This is also going on. This is a very interesting chart formation. We don't get this very often. If we go back into the past, we had something similar back here when we were getting close to a top. And if we take a look right before, so again, looking at this correction here, before we started just slowly grinding up before a steep cliff, it did look similar. Now, I'm certainly not saying that we're about ready to fall off a cliff here. That is not what I'm saying. I've got a primary idea of where I think we are potentially going. So first off, I'm also going to remove this guy as well. All right, I've got a correction here, which I'm going to be paying close attention to. I'm going to move down to a 2-hour, see if I can compress myself down a little bit here. I've got myself down to a 2-hour time frame. All right, so I've got a correction here. So I believe I've got a candidate for a 1 and then a 2. All right, but I don't think this is the 3. I actually don't believe this is the 3, which would insinuate that we've got a little bit of a bullish bias here. So I'm going to go down here, take it from the bottom up here to the top. I'm going to get as close as I can to the top there, and I'm going to get a pullback. So the reason why I don't think this is the 3 is because it doesn't go up high enough. Potentially this could be the 3. Ideally this would be the 3. Okay, so if this is our 1, 2, and then we've got the 3, let's say we've got the 3 up here. Let's go ahead and mark this out. From this, we've got a 1 and then a 2. If this is the 3, and I actually don't think it is, I think this is the 3 right here. I think this is better, and I think this is actually the 4, and then we're going up for that 5. And it would make a whole lot of sense that we're just slowly grinding up on a wave 5. And the reason why I'm putting the 3 up here past the 175, all right, we're going past the 175. reason why I like that is because, again, looking at corrections, right? So we obviously have a correction here. We also have a big correction here, okay? So from this, I believe I've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can put the 4 right there and work ourselves up to that 5 on, actually I'm going to increase the degree on this one right here, because I think this is probably what fits the most on this count. All right, so 3, 4, and then I think we can all agree we're finishing something here. We're finishing something. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to have a big cliff dive here, but it certainly does look like we are finishing something. Okay, so I'm of the opinion that we've got a 1, 2, this is the 3. And again, the whole reason why I believe this is the 3 up here is because this certainly didn't get up to the 1618. This didn't get up to the 1618. It was close, but it didn't quite get there. This went beyond, and I'm on board with this being our wave 3. And I can count a nice 1, 2. Let me just make sure we don't have any violation of this low over here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. A nice correction here, right? Corrections come in 3 waves. Therefore, this is not A, B, C, right? We've got the A, then we've got the B, and then we go down for the C right here. This makes the most sense to me. Changing that to white so that we kind of stay on board with our, yes, that looks good. And then we finish that 5. Note at how we're finishing this 5. It doesn't look exactly, but it's just a slow grind, and then that last little move up, we get a bump, and then we reverse. If we go through a bigger correction. And again, from this, we've got a nice A, a contender for an A, a B, and a C. This seems to fit the best. This did not look like a wave 3 at all. It started looking like a wave 3. This was a nice impulse up, and then it just kind of hit a brick wall, and it was just like, you know, bang, 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 bang. And we just recently hit it just a couple days ago. Actually, yesterday, we hit that top again, and we haven't been able to push up above it. So until we can push above that upper green line, I think that we are in a case where we need to be very cautious on you know how large we're going. And actually, you know, I've been taking some hedge short positions. I took one yesterday. I took some VXX calls expiring in early March. So I've still got a couple weeks for those to work out, and I think they probably will, especially if we can move ourselves down here. Now again, my primary for this, so if this is the wave 4 and this is the finishing of wave 5, well, then what we're going to basically be doing is we're going to be correcting this entire move here. What we have seen historically is when we see an impulsive move, we have only been correcting down to the 236 or the 382. We have not been getting down to the 50 or the 618, which is what we'd like to see. So the 382 is pretty darn deep. I don't think we're actually going to get all the way down here. I don't think we're going to get down that low. So let's go ahead and put the 236 on here and just see where it lands. 35.38 all the way down here. This is more than likely where I think we're probably going to be heading. And if you look left, what do you see if we look left? Let me just mark that here, right at the 236. Well, we have our apex high here, and then we have another high right there. So if we do happen to correct down here, I mean, it would make a whole lot of sense. When is that going to happen by? Well, it could be a while, guys. It could actually be a really long time before we actually see that target hit. Let me move this, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but let me see if I can make this work out a little better. Yeah, this I think makes the most sense. I'm just going to pull this in. All right, so if we can see the lower, and let me see if I can make this just a little bit brighter. I purposely had it, here we go. I purposely had it light, a lighter shade, so that it wasn't intrusive to the eyes, but this makes a lot of sense. So if we finish this move, you know, hitting this down here on March 10th makes a whole lot of sense. What that means, though, what that means is more than likely the path we're going to get is a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me just fix this up. Whoops. Let me redo that. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so again, I mean, it could be an A, B, C, A, B. Okay, I'm a little stuttery with my fingers today, apparently. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. More than likely, it's probably going to look a little bit like that if it does happen. It could be that we're going to be correcting for the next 3 weeks. It could be that we're correcting for the next 3 weeks. So I would be very careful getting too many long positions. What I'm basically doing is I'm taking this low here and this low here, and seeing that we broke down below this, we kind of tried to push back up. And if we get back below this, it's going to become, much more apparent that we're going to fall deeper. And really, this looks like an ending move. It looks like we're finishing something. And again, I'm going to say this one more time. If we can close above this green line up here, then we're in good shape. Let me change this one to red because this is basically our important support. This is our important resistance. If we can push up above 39.61, then we can make our way up higher. But really, what this is, in my opinion, is just the completion of a much larger wave 1, and then we go down for wave 2. And really, I would really like this guy to come all the way down here to the 382 or the 50 even. I don't think it's going to get that low. I just don't feel like it is. It would be fantastic for it to come all the way back down to say like 29.85, somewhere down here. That would be fantastic. I don't think it's going to, for it to come all the way down here. That would be ideal. That would be pretty steep, though. I don't think it's going to do that. And I think if I said that it would, I'd probably get death threats in my YouTube chat. If I measured the last 5, the 1, 2, 3, 6 is at 4,080. If I measure the last 5. From the 1 going all the way up here to the 5. The 1, 2, 3, 6 is at 4,000. Yeah, 4,080, 4,090. I see what you're saying there. That does make sense. It's possible. All right, here's another possibility. So just keeping that in mind right there at 4,090. If I'm wrong, and I very well could be, this could be what we are actually going to be doing, right? If we stay within this expanding diagonal, right, we could see a move down here, and then we see that move up there before we see a much larger correction down. It's very possible that that is what happens. It's possible that this goes up here. That would make sense. That would make sense. Because essentially what we've got here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could see that. I'd like to see a move down to about 370 before that happens. But it is very possible that that is that's what's going to happen. Ultimately, I think we're going to cut lower. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. I do think that we're going to cut lower. I think it would make a whole lot of sense for us to do that. I also think it would be very, very healthy for us to do this. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. I haven't taken a look at NASDAQ in a while, so I'm probably going to be making some significant changes to my NASDAQ chart as well. Oh, I've got a lot of garbage on here. So let me, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to clear it all. All right, we're going to start with a naked chart on NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ has had its moments of bullishness when SPY has been bearish and vice versa. There have been times where NASDAQ showed weakness where S&P showed strength. But for NASDAQ, again, looking at corrections, let me pull this up over here. All right, so we're looking for corrections. And again, very similar to what we saw for the S&P. We've got the same formation here. ABC right there. We're going to count this the same way. A couple other corrections that we can see. We've got a nice ABC right here. That's a good one. I believe we had an expanded flat right here. I remember when this happened. This looks like an expanded flat to me. And then we've got some other correctiveness behavior back here. Again, another expanded flat right here. A, B, C right there. Okay. So again, we're going to be taking a very similar stance where we've got our 1, and then we go for the 2. Now, where's the 3, 4, 5? I'm going to put them up here for right now, and I'm going to measure. Again, measuring from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1, pulling it back to wave 2. All right, so we've got the 1628 to 175. Again, potentially the 3 here. We go for the 4 right here, and then we go up for the 5. Okay, so even though these markets flow in a very similar way, this does look like this could have been the completion of a first wave, unless we had an expanded scenario, which is also very, very possible, because obviously just because it stopped at the 175 doesn't mean that that's wave 3, right? It could be that this is actually wave 3, and let me try and make a case for that. Again, from the bottom here, 1 ABC, an expanded flat into the 2, 3 ABC into the 4, and then we go up for this 5, again on a smaller degree. So let me just go ahead and put this 3 up here. And then we get the 4, which is back here, would be right there. And then again, finishing that 5th wave. And is it finished yet? You know, don't really know for sure. I would have liked to see, oh my, actually, NASDAQ looks like it's done. Looking here at the 3618, it touched it perfectly. I would be willing to say that NASDAQ is done, and NASDAQ is probably going to pull harder than the S&P based on what I see here. The 3618, I mean, you can take a look at that. You really can't make this up. It fits the narrative. Elliott wave is highly subjective. It fits the narrative perfectly. Right there is right on top of that 3618. Where did we top out at? Let's just go ahead and zoom in and see where we topped out. Knowing that 13,877.50 is approximately where we have, and we topped out right up there at 13,900 basically. Makes a whole lot of sense that NASDAQ could be done. Okay, what is our level of invalidation, right? So if you're going to put on bear goggles, let's see where we're wrong. Okay, and again, looking at this off the bottom here, a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that last wave, our ending diagonal. It works. It works. So again, where are we wrong? Tagging the top of this guy, moving ourselves over. Again, very similar to all of the other guys. That's the level that we need to break up above to be bullish. Where am I going to become very, very bearish? Yeah, we're actually in a pretty good channel here, actually. So it's not an expanding diagonal like we had in the S&P. This is more of just a channel that we've got going on in NASDAQ. But I'm willing to say that NASDAQ is done, and we are going to be entering a larger corrective phase, which again, as we have discussed, if this finishes that move, take a fib pull from the bottom to the top right there at about 13.9, get close, as close as I can. As close as I can. You know, the 618, you know, we've got on a log scale, the 618 is at 9,400. Let's go on arithmetic here and pull this guy. 9405. Actually, I didn't have it on log scale. Let me fix that. Here we go. All right, so, and I may actually have to go back to the S&P if I had my settings off on my fib. So watching this, coming back down to, you know, the 236, right? Looking left, not a whole lot of significance. The 382, looking left, we had prior support back here. I would love to see a pullback this deep. This would be very, very healthy if this were to happen. I'm not going to try and be a hero and call the top or anything like that, but I would love to see a deeper pullback, at least to the 236. 236 would be great at 11,600. That would be quite nice. Coming back down here to the 382 would be even better if we were to find ourselves back down there. I would be a buyer all day at the 10,500 area. 10,500. So we'll have to, wait and see how this goes. So now, what I think a lot of you are waiting for, let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin on Bitstamp. I'm on a 2-hour time frame, so let me go down to an hourly here. I've got a lot on this chart, and I am not going to remove it because I think my count on Bitcoin is pretty darn good right now. I have no reason to believe that this is incorrect, so I'm sticking with this for now. All right, so first off, let me pull this guy back in. All right, and I'm on log scale. And we've discussed this. This has not changed a whole lot, right? Actually, this really hasn't changed much since all the way back here in early February, right? I believe this was the end of wave 3. We finished that correction to wave 4, and then I had a 1 expansion into the 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, down here into the 4. We came down to the 236. This negative 236 extension is sitting there at $53,650. This is where I'm still eyeing for a top, right? We are in the red zone right now. $52,550 is sitting there as pretty important resistance. Negative 236, pretty important resistance. And this negative 236, just for the record, is taking it from this low to this high. This wave 3 is what I'm measuring. We came down to the 236, which means more than likely we're probably going to make ourselves, actually since we came down to the 236, we're probably going to go a little bit higher. It's very possible that we do make ourselves all the way up here to this 2618. That's going to be at about $56,800, $57,000. So I'll throw this guy up here for right now, because I think that is potentially where it's going. Now, I've been telling people to start scaling out from 51 to 53. I think it's still possible that we make ourselves go higher. I think it's possible that we may actually go much higher up here to this 57,000 range. Okay, so keep an eye up there. But when we do finally get this, we're going to have, if y'all remember the Darth Maul candles, we're going to have, probably a $10,000 candle, and that seems insane. But we have to be very cautious up here because we can have a significant red candle, right? And you can't say that it's not going to happen, right? Because it has happened. We had a big cleansing candle here, cleansing candle here, cleansing candle here. I mean, you can look in the history and you can see where we have had pretty significant downside. Even this guy right here, from the top there to the bottom, that was a 13% drop, right? So a 13% drop up here is only $7,700. It would not surprise me to have a $10,000 candle. If we get one, yeah, I'm probably going to be looking to buy, because what I'm looking for is a move once we get up here, right? Assuming we get this high. Now, it could be that we do stop at 52, 53, somewhere around here. It could be that we stop there. Technically, the wave 3 target here on our white wave 3 is going to be sitting again at about $57,000, right on the money. If we get up there, I'm going to be taking a look for a move. Let's just say, in a perfect world, let's tag the bottom of this guy, and let's say we do make ourselves come all the way up to this 57,000 mark. The 382 is sitting right there at $45,778. Right there. Let me pull this guy up here. We get this pullback, and it could be that it happens really fast. It could be that it takes some time. We get that wave 4, and again, I was looking for late March to early April for this wave 4 to finish. So if we do get this high, depending on when we get it, right, it could be that it doesn't happen until later in the month. We could be correcting for the whole month of March. but we shouldn't go below this level here. And actually, I put out a signal on the Discord a couple days ago, long at 47,000 with a stop loss of 46,000. And I know some of you guys got filled there, and I know you're taking profit here, and I think that's fantastic. That was a good play. But I will be looking to reload back down here at that 46,000 level. Again, we're probably looking at late March. We all know what has historically happened. Note I didn't say we all know what happens. I'm saying we all know what historically happens that first week of April. It happened in 2018 during the bear market. It happened during 2019. And I believe it also happened in 2020. Let's just go back and take a look. Let's take a look at April, right? I'm going to look at I'm going to go to a different chart. I'm going to go to BLX just because it's just easier. I can go to a daily time frame. Let's just take a look and see what happens. Or again, what has historically happened in April, right here, April 12th. So this was this was almost 2 weeks into April. We had a 14% candle on Bitcoin. Back here in 2019, April 2nd, we had an 18% candle on Bitcoin. Here in April, let's find it. So we had a decent candle here at the end of the month, but even at the beginning of the month, here is March 30th, we had a 9% candle on Bitcoin. One way or another, what we have had at least the last 3 years, right? 2018, 2019, and 2020. 2020 was not as impressive as 18 and 19, and maybe it doesn't happen in 2021. But again, I'm looking for that pullback, right? And ignore this. Let me just remove it. I'm watching for that pullback, and then we go for that wave 4, and then we can see that wave 5. And again, we're talking about the correction occurring through the month of March, watching to see what happens at the end of March, beginning of April, somewhere along there. I think we're going to see a significant move. Let's go back here and go back to the hourly. So what I have been looking at, right, and this is no secret, I'm taking a look for a move up to 61 to maybe $65,000. That would be a nice move. And actually, I only think this is wave 3. I think this is only wave 3. Okay, so that wave 5, we'll see how high it goes. We have to see where wave 3 goes before we can determine how low wave 4 goes, and we need to see this before we can determine how high wave 5 is going to go. Like, we have some artifacts here that we can use to build our hypothesis, right? We've got a lot of garbage here. This for some of you doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I hope for some of the students that we've got on our BitDoctor server that this is making some sense to you. That again, we've got this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, into the 4, into the 5, which is this larger wave 3. And again, from this wave 3, we pull down for wave 4, and then we go up for, higher prices. Still higher prices. So we've got a lot of subdivision in here that we've been monitoring for a while, and it still looks good. All right, guys, it's been 30 minutes here, and I'm going to go ahead and end the video. If this video did help in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day. Good night.